Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This time we're going to take a closer look at the Palworld Feybreak update that came out today. So we did an earlier live stream, went through some of the changes, visited the new island. I haven't explored the entire island. I just managed to just go through a little small portion of it, so I have not done the entire island at its full. So I just want to give my early impressions on what the update has in store for us, some of the new changes, the new features, the new island, the pals, some generic stuff, and some nice to know niche things before players before players try to visit the new island, right? So let's dive right into it. So yeah, the first thing we'll look into the new technologies. The player cap is now at level 60. Pals can also be leveled up to level 60, and so with the new levels, you can discover new technology, new materials like hexlite and chromite to make better weaponry, newer armors, and newer foundation, new buildings and stuff like that. But in addition to that, in older levels, in previous levels, you can now learn newer technologies such as ladders for foundations, sphere modules to change the trajectory of your spheres and update and upgrade the capture power, and a whole lot more other foundational base structural stuff that you can build to kind of like help farm additional resources and help with base building and things like that. So we'll touch on a few niche things. We won't try to cover the whole spectrum, but we'll try to kind of like cover some of the few important things that you'll need to get started. So yeah, the pure quartz mine. You can now farm pure quartz inside your base. You do not need to go to any of the ice regions or anywhere far to farm pure quartz. You can now build your polymers and electrical components much more easier. Would have preferred if they gave us something like an oil rig mine, some like oil patches you can build in base, but unfortunately, they just gave us pure quartz. But this is still nice enough. Onto my personal favorite, the medicine rack. The medicine rack is by far the best quality of life improvement to be added to the game, at least as far as I think. It can be unlocked at level 23, and it just functions the same as the food box except that it stores medicine. You can store from medium to low to medium to high grade medicine, and pals who are suffering from any ailments or any illnesses will automatically come and treat themselves. You have no idea how much big of an improvement this is, because gone are the days where we need to chase after pals and make them drink their bloody medicines. Right, on to some newer structures. At level 15, you can discover the new PAL Expedition Station. This is a massive structure, and I think it's better if you build it on the ground level in an open area rather than on top of a structure or try to clip it onto a floor or a ceiling or anything like that, because it's going to come out a little bit weird, and you'll see in a little bit why. So this structure basically it's kind of like a mine, right? It allows you to send your pals on expedition missions to different regions. I'm not entirely sure what it really is and how does it function, but it kind of like builds, I guess it builds kind of like an underground network of tunnels that leads to each region. So each region, you can send pals on expedition missions to gather resources from each region, and each region is died behind that respective tower boss. For some reason, the tower boss progression is not being counted other than the Sakurajima tower boss. Hence, you can see the Blossom Cave being unlocked compared to the rest. So you'll need to. I guess it's a bug, but in any way, you'll need to beat the previous tower bosses again in order to unlock these regions once more. So once you've selected the respective region you want to send your pals to, you need to pick your pals or auto assign them from the pal box. You do not need to take them from they do not need to be assigned from the pals from the base, but rather from the pal box, and they need to meet some certain criteria. So in this case, for the Blossom Cave, there needs to be at least 20 water pals, and the total accumulated firepower of all the pals together need to exceed a certain limit as mentioned in the requirements below. So once all that is met, you can see what the percentage of reward you can earn, which is 100%, and the duration of the expedition, which is 48 minutes in this case. So it's going to take quite a bit of time before they get back. Now I initially thought that you could build like more than one expedition stations and send pals on multiple expedition missions to gain resources more quickly, but unfortunately you are capped to building only one pal expedition station per base. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this structure is quite large, so building it in your base is going to be a bit tricky. As you can see here, the rock surface is sticking out of the ceiling, so it looks all weird, and I don't know, but you can make it work somehow. So I would say that it's best to build this on the ground if you have space in your base on the ground level. And lastly, from the base updates that I'll cover from the new Feybreak update comes the PAL Labor Research Laboratory. Now, this gives you access to a skill tree that you can use to upgrade your PAL's skills in the base to increase productivity, such as kindling, watering, mining, cooling, medicine production, and so on and so forth. So this basically allows you to research specific skills to increase, for example, handiwork work speed, mining speed, or mining yields, watering speeds, kindling speeds. You you know what it's about, right? So in addition to that, so it's going to consume resources from basic resources such as wood, stone, leather, all the way to rare resources like cave mushrooms, ancient pal manuscripts, which you can earn from new bounties or dungeons, to ancient technology parts, to medicines, and stuff like that. So in this case, what I attempt to do is I want to research a skill for kindling, just to see what it does. So it's going to consume charcoal and flame organs. So I begin research, and you'll notice that the station turns into kind of like a furnace. So this happens for each of the skills, right? Not so in the case of kindling, it turns into a furnace, and you need to have a pal with the specific skill. So in this case, I need a pal with kindling available to start researching. So you can see the blaze mud come, and the research begins. Now, initially, I thought by adding more stations, I can research different skills alongside, but the minute you add newer stations, the same skill is researched in the new station as well. So, in other words, you can increase the rate of research by adding more kindling pals to them rather than researching different skills at the same time. One thing I did not try was building different research stations at different bases. Maybe that way we can research different skills at the same time. Now, this next update feels like Pocket Pair giving the middle finger to Nintendo and Pokemon, and that it comes in the form of sphere modules. Sphere modules can be crafted, and they come in different levels, and these pretty much augment the way you throw your sphere. So, for example, the slider sphere will let you throw the sphere in an arc and increase the capture power. So it kind of like feels the curve throw in Pokemon. So I mean, you tell me. Then you can equip the sniper module, which kind of like allows you to throw at a long straight distance, and that increases the capture power by a lot as well. Now, as far as strongholds are concerned, so the first stronghold we got from the Sakurajima update, which was an level 50 oil rig to the southeast, which was the only source of getting some crude oil other than farming crude oil from crude oil patches around the map. So in the new update, in the new Feybreak update, there is a higher level stronghold, which is guarded by an attack helicopter. We are yet to discover it because I still have not finished, covering the entire map so far. But other than that, there is a level 30 low level oil rig in the middle of the map, somewhere between the grasslands, which has enemies between level 15 and 30. So it's quite easy for beginner level players to kind of like farm some crude oil for themselves, because the size of the oil rig is also kind of like 1/4 the size of the oil rig to the southeast, so it is quite easy. However, the rewards that are yielded from this oil rig are quite less compared to the usual rewards that we are used to seeing from the oil rig to the southeast, the one from the Sakurajima update. So you get kind of like less crude oil, less blueprints, less skill, less manuals, stuff like that. And now on to the new exciting update available, the new mechanic, the new bounty system that is available in the game. I was very excited when I saw this update in the patch notes. So now, just like PAL bosses around the world, you now have human bosses around the world with different levels ranging from island to island, from level 10 in the low grass level islands to level 50 in the Sakurajima Islands and in Feybreak. So this is quite exciting to see. It's basically different human bosses with different variety of weapons, different skill sets, and things like that. So they offer a bit of unique battles to it. They're not that hard, right? They are quite easy, and just like the regular PAL bosses as well, They do respawn, so you can just keep farming stuff from them time after time, taking them down and then farming. I am not sure, but I think you can capture them as well. I haven't tried to, but because I'm not bothered to. But you can like kill them, get ancient technology points from them, and get successful bounty tokens from them. Now, this bounty token is kind of like a currency. So depending on the level of the bosses, you get different variation of bounty tokens from them. You can go to any town or village, and trade these bounty tokens with the bounty trader. He looks like a PDIF officer, so he might be a bit difficult to spot at times. So the vigilante bounty officer, you can trade this with him for different rewards like money, uh, ancient PAL manuscripts, tech manuals, life fruits, power fruits to power up pals. So, and these don't go away. You can just keep spending and keep buying more. So it's not a one-time purchase. You can keep purchasing these things over and over again. So you can just wait for bounty targets to respawn, farm them over again, come, spend, and get your stuff. PAL bosses also give you a bounty token, but they function quite differently. Now, this wasn't mentioned in the patch notes, but I did discover them when I was looking into my key items. And all the PAL bosses that I've beaten around the map have given me a bounty token. These bounty tokens buff your pals in your party by giving them damage bonuses for the respective element. As you can see, some give you neutral damage, electric damage, dragon damage, grass damage, depending on the PAL boss that you've beaten. They give a certain buff to a certain element. And now finally, we've reached the crucial point, which is the island itself. What is the island like? Now, I have not completely navigated the entire island, right? Traversing the island is quite difficult. You will find out soon why. But the island does have some amazing structures to it. But as soon as you reach the island, the first thing you'll notice is that you have entered an anti-air zone. You have been targeted by surface to air missiles. Now, where they are coming from, initially you will have no idea, but anytime you get on a flying pal, even if you're on grounded, you will still be targeted. Now be careful, do not disregard this alert. As you can see, as you'll see in a little bit, I find out the hard way that the minute you are still on a flying pal but grounded and you think that you will not be targeted, the missile will somehow find you and just take your pal out. Now the reason this is because the enemy camps in Feybreak are equipped with SAM sites. So now initially we did not have an incentive to visit enemy bases other than if we wanted to look for a new pal that has been captured and we want to like release it and add it to our storage. But now since these enemy bases have SAM sites, it's all the more reason to visit these bases, take them out and disable the SAM sites so that you can clear the map and you can fly around. Now this is what actually hinders the progress of actually navigating through Feybreak and quickly discovering the island. So I guess Pocket Pair did this to kind of like ensure the players kind of like stay grounded more, run around more, you use like land pals more to traverse around rather than flying around on a jet dragon and quickly navigate in the area. So they kind of like added these SAM sites to kind of like hinder us a little bit, give us a little bit of a challenge to explore, which is quite nice. It adds a little bit more variety and offers a new challenge overall while exploring. So all you need to do is take out the enemies who look like psychos from who looks like psychos from Borderlands, by the way, for if you notice their masks, but I'm not sure there's any reference there. So if you want, you can free the pal, add it to your storage. So there are a lot of new pals to look into, like the fauna, the area, the mountain regions of Feybreak look amazing. I'm not going to spoil too much. You guys can explore it for your own and find out. But I'm just giving you these kind of hints and tips which you can use to kind of like so that you don't face the exact same pain that I went through when I ran into the SAM sites. So as soon as you're done clearing out the camp, just head over to the SAM site and disable it just like any other turret you would do on the oil rig, and then you should be good. And finally, we would like to cover the dungeons in the new Fabric update. The new dungeons are quite amazing. They have a new aesthetic to it. They are more crystalline in structure. They have more rock surface. It's like an inner rock cavern. And I mean, yeah, they just look as simply stunning. I was hoping that they would give us a new mapping tool for dungeons. So it's not necessarily where you go into a dungeon and then you have an instant map of it. It's more like as you progress through the dungeon, your map gets updated and then you can see where you've been. But that seems like not to be the case. So dungeons, they have new structure, new pathing now. It's no longer simply going into a room and it's left, right, or center. It is still kind of like that, but you have now, as you can see here, you have now underground pathing, you have overhead pathing, and stuff like that. So different pathing structures. So the map looks different than what you are used to seeing from the previous dungeons. But everything else remains the same. You find a boss, you fight a boss in the end. You can either kill it or capture it, and then you get loot rewards. Uh, so within the dungeon, you find a variety of resources as well, like the usual mushrooms, pure quartz, and the new hexalite mineral as well that you need for hexalite stuff. Uh, you could use some pals or the metal detector to look for chrome light as well. So yeah, a whole lot more to discover. So yeah, that pretty much covers it. Covers the new update from my perspective. There's a lot more to discover. I will say once again that I have not finished the entire update yet. I have not discovered. I've still explored only a small portion of the map yet, and it took so long for me to do it. I mean, there's just lot. There's just so much to look for. There's so many new pals, so many new variants of existing pals to look at as well. I try not to spoil a lot of it, so I didn't talk about a lot of those things. I would like you guys to kind of like play and discover it for yourselves. But I will make videos in the coming days or so or more. I'll make more videos about on Palworld and the new update as well, especially the tower boss and the new raid boss. Once I'm kind of like prepped, I'll put a video on like my prep work for them, and when I'm going to like encounter them. So because from what I've seen, like it's going to be given the difficulties we went through with Sakurajima, with the Moonflower Tower boss and the Blazemut Ryu raid boss. We can only imagine how difficult this one is going to be since everything is kept at level 60 now. So I mean, yeah, hopefully you guys are able to play the new update as well. And I mean, it's crazy that all these updates are free, right? Given that everything Pocket Pair has been through with the whole Nintendo Pokemon lawsuits and everything. It's nice to see that they're still going strong. And yeah, we could only give them all our support, right? Hopefully they do many more good things in the coming months. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys found my video useful. Hopefully it helps you guys to get started with the Feybreak island exploration, especially with the SAM sites, because that thing took me out by surprise. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about the Feybreak update. What do you guys think about Palworld in general? And yeah, do share your thoughts, and I'll see you guys in the next live stream or video. Till next time, then, bye bye.